Welcome to the Stand on Your Investment podcast, presented by UC Hunting Properties and Expedition Land Management, where professionals from around the country will dive deep into land management strategies, investing in recreational real estate, and all things hunting.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Stand on Your Investment podcast. We're coming to you with a special episode this week. We're down here in Missouri, hanging out with the boys from UC Land Pros out of Memphis, Missouri, and it's a special occasion. I feel pretty blessed to be sitting here with these hammers, but we got Jason Small, the Grand Poopah, I guess, broker extraordinaire, old boy Dave Smith over there, turkey killing machine. We'll get into that a little bit. And then today, a couple of the best in the business, Tyler Arnold and David Little. Some of you guys might know or recognize these guys. Tyler's part of Dream Season, one of Drury's shows, and David Little rolls with the Whitetail Freak guys. So, ta-da, welcome.
Make it sound like a big deal.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it is. You're sitting next to old boy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Kind of a big. He's a big deal.
David's a legend.
Literally
himself.
a big deal.
He's a big deal on multiple fronts.
Yes.
Probably doubled your status in just a few minutes.
Yeah. What wasn't too long ago, we sat down and attempted to do a podcast, just kind of a recap on our Montana turkey hunt. Again, Jason and Dave bought that hunt off auction. Money went to a great cause, the Hunting with Heroes Foundation. A lot of fun. We had a blast out in Montana, and this is going to be kind of bringing that whole thing full wrap. So I think what we're going to do is I'm going to have both Tyler and David just give us a little intro. So if somebody isn't familiar, I guess I'll chime in to begin with and just start with these guys do the majority of their business in Missouri and down in southern Iowa. Anyone listening that wants to talk to guys that literally do live the lifestyle, walk the walk, talk the talk, I don't know that you could be in better hands than with any of these guys we're sitting with tonight. So class act down here in Missouri. If you're looking for land in Missouri, you need to be talking to these guys. But anyway, Tyler, I'm going to pass the baton to you after you get a little sauce in you there. Like I said, just give us a little overview, background, what have you, and we'll go from there.
Well, Tyler Arnold, I been affiliated with a few different TV shows, most recent here, and now with Drury Outdoors. Proud to be a part of UC, slinging dirt down here in southern Iowa and North Missouri.
Love it. And I will chime in. Compliments to Tyler. He brought a whole load of fresh crappie tonight, and we fried her up out in Small's, I don't know, I guess front yard, driveway.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm full as a tick, but happy too. So
it was good.
Only way to do it.
Had to show out for the legend David Little here. Had to bring in some fresh fish.
Hey,
My abs
man.
popping through.
Yeah.
Perfect. David, same thing. Give us a little intro, who you are and where you're slinging dirt.
Well, I'm based out of southern Iowa. I've been with United Country for just a few months now, but been filming for Whitetail Freaks since 2017, and before that it was kind of on our own self-filming deal, but it's been a blast and living it up. Right on.
Well, thanks for that. So the angle we're going to take this week on the show, we're going to pick your guys' brains, right? You guys are living a lifestyle a lot of people dream about, as far as being, I guess I would deem it a professional hunter or a guy getting filmed doing what we love to do, and that's chasing big whitetails and turkeys and elk and whatever. Hell, Tyler's I don't know. Do you consider yourself a pro fisherman, semi-pro?
No, not with the guys I fish against. I take plenty of butt whoopings from those guys.
Right. Well, you're not playing with the right guys if you're winning every time.
I just like to go grocery shopping.
Hey, and the groceries were good. The groceries were damn good. But no, I like I said, the angle I'd like to take today is just getting some insight from you guys. I think a lot of people are interested in trying to capture their hunts. It's pretty neat when you do it, whether you're doing it solo or whether you got a camera guy legit with you. And even if it's not to do, a full tilt digital series or a YouTube show or a cable TV show like you guys are doing, it's fun to capture those memories. And I'm sure you guys have made a lot of mistakes and learned along the way. So I don't care how we do this. We're going to go open format, but I'd just like to hear your guys' perspective on, maybe gear you would suggest, best practices in the tree. If you do have a camera guy, what good looks like, that sort of stuff. So, like I said, open format, we'll just fire away. So, David, Tyler, I don't care who we.
I'll follow the legend on this one.
Well, we've obviously both been doing this for a few years now. I will say filming is probably hands down one of the funnest and best things I've ever done, but it's also one of the biggest pain in the asses too. So
Most rewarding.
yeah, definitely for sure. Yeah, being able to share it with everybody else is a big deal, whether you're doing it on your own or you're broadcasting it like us on our level. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. I think the biggest thing of it, just having somebody to be there with you. It's always fun going hunting regardless, but you got a good buddy there sitting over your shoulder with a camera capturing it all. It's a good
ready
time.
to jack you up when you
Yeah.
fail.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's relentless. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You're definitely put on blast when it comes to filming. So I mean, everything's out there in the open. So
Yeah, there ain't no shooting that deer missing and not telling nobody and getting by with it
Right.
when you do what we do.
Well, and I know the one thing when it comes to hunting in general, it's not like catch and release. When that arrow goes, good, bad, or indifferent, there's no getting it back or letting him go, right?
yeah, and I don't know about Tyler's teammate, but mine will throw all the dirty laundry out there for everybody
I
to know.
guarantee it.
Yeah.
That'll be, the miss will be the first thing that they mention.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, you'll never live it down.
Fair enough. So I guess I'm gonna break it down. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to be on quite a few filmed hunts and stuff, so I at least get the general concept. But I'm a hunter first, so I've always been like, listen, hey, camera guy, if shit's going down, you better be ready, because I can promise you, the first opportunity I get, the axe is getting thrown, basically.
Oh, for sure.
And poor Tyler has to deal with that when we're out west or back in the Iowa deer woods or whatever. But the one thing I was going to ask is, it's already hard to kill big deer consistently, right? I think everyone can agree to that. But now you have the element of, 2 stands, 2 dudes, double the scent, double the movement. You got camera gear all over the place. What do you guys do? I mean, like, are you taking extra steps? Are you both doing the exact same thing? I mean, like I said, basically it's double the odds of failure because of just the fact you got 2 guys instead of 1, and it's 2 separate guys. I can control what I do when I'm in a tree stand, but you guys are hunting with a buddy. So are there extra steps or precautions, or like, how do you guys go about it?
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's everything you just said right there is totally true. I think the way that me and Mac, the guy I film with, I think we succeed is like, I mean, our mindset's pretty much the same. I mean, styles are the same. I mean, scent control. I mean, the way we put a farm together. I mean, our mindsets are. I mean, what I'm thinking, Mac is already thinking. So, I think that helps out a lot. But I mean, but yeah, you're right. There's 2 guys there, so you're double the trouble. So it's a lot. It's a mind game, I think. But
Yeah, I think kind of a lot like David said. Everything that you said was true. I mean, more or less having some trust in the guy that you're in the tree with. And I'm like you. I'm a killer, killer first, and if it gets captured, it gets captured. So, but I think definitely having a lot of trust in. You go about things the same way. I think more or less, or at least we do. But just trusting that the guy over your shoulder is taking care of what he needs to take care of while you're taking care of killing deer, elk, whatever it may be that you're hunting.
Well, and I think one thing people are probably curious about, like the communication, right? Because I've always been told, and I've heard multiple guys that are the hunter, you are putting a lot of trust in the guy over your shoulder, that he's on his game. And, but I also think there's an element that goes with being a good field producer, camera guy. I'd argue their game has to be equal to or better than the guy in front of the camera.
For sure,
Because you're both hunting, right? It's just different.
It has to be better. All the guy with the bow's got to do is pull the trigger.
Yep.
the guy running the camera, he's got to be the one that lays everything down and worry about the camera.
Yeah, and not get busted doing it, right?
Exactly. I will say I think being the cameraman is probably more demanding, I feel like, than the hunter. I mean, I don't know how many times I sit there and look and make sure that red light's flashing and make sure I'm on record, because I don't want to hear that either. I mean, I don't want to miss a deer, but I definitely don't want to hit the record button. So
Right.
Yeah, and I don't know that, I'm sure, I mean, it's pretty standard, most people are running a main camera and then 2 or 3 second angle cameras. So, a camera guy, he's got 2 or 3 cameras to make sure that they're all rolling, plus the main camera that he's laying everything down with.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, Jason, you brought up an excellent point. I mean, Dave Smith, old boy, borderline professional at everything he does, right?
Well, ish.
I mean, you were telling us a story about his videography work on a turkey hunt at dinner.
Yes.
And I was impressed.
Yeah.
Maybe you should even share the story.
Well, so long story short, turkey comes in. We made a big move, had some great footage. We thought, killed the turkey. Everything was 1, 2, 3. You're on him. We're ready to go. Killed the turkey, and I said, "Man, you really got some good footage there. You got zoomed in, pretty head, white head, whatever else."
He was fired
up. The other bird comes in, flogs him when he's done, and said, "Well, you got zoomed in on his head right good, right?" And he goes, There's a zoom on this camera?"
Oh boy,
Hey,
you
I'm looking forward to my second big film job, though. I mean,
I think we're going to put him with these two and see what happens.
I'd say a couple pointers. I'll be right in there.
Early
I'll probably
retirement.
film Tyler this fall.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
He
what,
may do it once.
He'll get a severance package.
you get old boy in a tree and get away with it.
Hey,
It's
here's
going
the
to take
deal.
a pretty good sized tree.
Yeah.
If anybody's looking, just call Dave.
Yeah. Anyone looking for some freelance video work, Dave will be right there.
Yeah.
And if there isn't a tree to hunt there, you can just sit on his shoulders and it'd be about the equivalent.
That's
So,
it. Yep, that's exactly right.
Oh, too funny. So, I was going to ask you guys, I mean, if you were going to give anybody just, I don't know, a starter tip, maybe it's equipment related or whatever. I mean, I think everyone started in a different place. But if someone was looking to get into it, I mean, is there, is it a wireless mic? Is it a specific, Sony or I guess I don't know. And I guess I'm just going to ask you guys that if a listener was curious on, hey, I want to do this, is there, a quasi gear list you'd tell them to start with?
My biggest thing that my regret when I first started out is I was the budget Walmart guy where I rolled in with a shady looking Sony camera. But the one thing I regret that I wish I'd have spent the extra money on was probably audio. I wish I'd at least a shotgun mic. I mean, even if it didn't have a cover or something, audio was my biggest thing. I mean, you think you did something cool and you play it back on the TV or whatever you're watching it on, and audio wasn't there. That kills it. You know what I mean?
Good audio is key.
Audio is key. I mean, you always have the picture, whether it be grainy or whatever. You got a picture, but the audio is kind of makes up a hunt.
David, you're not supposed to be shooting them when it's dark.
Well, yeah. Well, you lose light here fast in Iowa. So.
I get it.
Yeah, that was one thing. Luckily, I was fortunate enough, and I went out when I bought good. I had a good shotgun mic, good set of wireless Sennheisers. My biggest thing, I would say, I guess, if everybody's got a certain budget, go the best that you can on your camera because, cold, on certain cameras will kill batteries a lot quicker than some. Your lighting. I've been in situations. Well, this past year, the deer I killed during muzzleload season, we had brutal temperatures in December. 20 below wind chill type.
Yeah, it was crazy cold.
And we were losing light because of our batteries and our equipment freezing up. We were running out of batteries about, getting maybe 15 minutes out of each battery where you normally get 2+ hours.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And we were losing light on our camera. And we got, one of the bigger and better cameras you can get, but just the elements eating on that camera, we were losing light 45 minutes before actual shooting light would end just because of the cold. So I definitely think the the better, the biggest and best that you can go. I mean, you ain't got to kill your budget just on one thing, but definitely, I think buying a good camera that's that'll draw in a lot of low light. Definitely.
And one thing, I guess, we're talking about equipment in general, and I think the one thing I've really noticed, especially with outdoor TV, the game's obviously been elevated substantially. You guys are running multiple angles, and you got a Tacticam over here, you got a GoPro over there, all the stuff, and that's cool. I mean that's fun as a viewer to see every angle, and I love that. But opinion on camera arms. Because, I mean, I remember back in the day, a lot of the freelance guys were doing the old, brace, look through the eyepiece, don't watch the screen. Yeah. What's your guys' opinion on running a camera arm or a tree arm?
I'm 100% tree arm all the time.
Oh, 100%.
I don't
go any. Yeah.
I don't know that you could go anyway. I mean, maybe on a turkey hunt or something you could go without a tripod in that instance. But anytime you're deer hunting, I think, whether that be in a blind, you got to have a tripod, or in a tree where you got to have a tree arm. And nowadays the tree arms are a lot smaller than when I started. The tree arms were
a hell of a lot lighter.
Yeah,
that's what I was about to say.
You're packing them in on your pack.
The tree arms were damn near 25, 30 pounds when we first started.
Horrible.
Now
I had one of them, like, I don't even know, I'm going to call it Gen 1 because I don't know the terminology.
The big old muddies.
It's exactly what it was with the ratchet. That just went like there was no quiet to it.
The base alone weighed 15 pounds. Now they got multiple, muddy, Fourth Arrow, whatever you want to go. It's kind of a Ford Chevy type deal on brands, but all of them, the newer models are all light, compact.
Yep.
Lot nicer than what they was back, even 10 years ago when we got started doing this.
Well, and I think same thing. I remember somebody saying, "Hey, dude, you got to have a fluid head," and I was going like, "Why? What?" And you don't understand until you run a camera and understand just that movement's so dramatically different.
Once you go that route, you won't go back.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. You'll never go back. And that's like I run a Fourth Arrow arm, and Fourth Arrow makes it where I've got brackets. I got every set we have has a bracket strapped to the tree. I mean, there is no going in and ratcheting it to the tree anymore, and every setup's got it. So all I'm doing is slipping in an arm and straight to filming.
All right, so then I'm going to go another best practice because I want your guys' insight on this as well. So I think, Tyler, you're a lefty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. David, you're a righty.
I'm a righty.
Okay, so that said, where should your camera be camera guy or camera in general relative to your body position? If you're looking out the stand, where's that camera relative to you as a lefty, and David, you as a righty?
Well, if I'm right-handed, so obviously my swing radius is more to my left. So, I mean, obviously it does vary per tree. I mean, whatever the setup might be. I mean, you might have a tree that splits off 4 or 5 different ways, so it makes it tough. But, I mean, if I had my preference, he'd be over my right shoulder, like saying I'm banking on swinging to my left.
And same in your opinion over your left shoulder, Tyler?
Yeah, I shoot a bow right-handed and a gun left-handed. But even
he's a unicorn.
Yep.
Even being left-handed, I still think all the viewfinders are on the left side of the camera. So if we got the perfect scenario, we always set up over the shooter's right shoulder, just because with the viewfinder being on the left, or if you got the screen to mount on the top, you can work around. It just seems like you can work around the tree so much easier.
One, if you're a right-handed bow guy, then I mean it is what it is.
It's right down the shaft if you're over the.
Okay.
Yep.
For right-handed shooters, you set up on the right side, right down the shaft.
Right shoulder over the top.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we've got to the point, we hunt quite a bit out of box blinds anymore too. I mean, I used to, so gun hunting wise, we have a bog pod set up there with whatever gun you got, and we used to run a tripod too over the camera. I mean, now here lately we've got to where we run a monopod because it's just your room is obviously key. So I mean, you don't want to be bumping into people or.
Well, and Turtle runs around with a monopod when we're out west, especially stalking and stuff. I think it's
and turkey hunting. I mean, God, it makes a world of difference just having the monopod with the it's got a trifold feed on the bottom where it's for stability, but monopod inside of a blind is key.
Here, I thought the whole time Tyler was just doing it to look cool, like it was trendy or something. I was like, "What is that? A walking stick? Give me that thing." Yeah. Sorry, Tyler, you're getting beat up over here.
I'm used to it.
Yeah. Now, Dave, I mean, we understand your videography works next level. I mean, do you got any insight to best practices for this stuff?
Well, hey, here's the deal. You know, you need to know your equipment to start with. Obviously, my first time out, I was a little new to my equipment, but I'm willing to take a second chance.
All right. Jason, you gonna take him up on that, or?
I think the United Country guys would have me. You know, I'm banking on filming Tyler here next time.
Yeah.
We can roll with that.
Good luck.
Hey, if I give him an opportunity at a booner on my property, hey, I bet he'd take me up. on it.
I guarantee you, I've
Yep.
always said I'd try anything once.
Now, what are we talking about? This
Oh, how the turns have tide.
and if it's a booner, I'll try it more than once.
hopefully, it only takes once, right?
Yeah.
Oh, fun. So, I appreciate that, guys, because I mean, obviously this thing isn't scripted. We're shooting from the hip, but I do think people are curious about that, and that's just, in my opinion, a couple best practices or whatever. Let's talk about hunting. I'd rather talk about hunting anyway, like legit hunting.
I'm not any
So,
good at that.
Can I chime in once real quick?
Turtle's chiming in.
So from behind the camera, I'm going to chime in. I think one of the most important things, especially in tree stand hunting, and it's actually even more so in spot and stalk, is having that communication beforehand with your hunter of, hey, if it comes to my right, you know, especially if you're set up in a situation where you've got some, you know, some controllable aspects to it. If he comes to my, you know, if he comes to my right, I'm gonna shoot him in this hole, or hey, don't shoot him that hole. I can't get an angle on him with the camera, type thing. So having that communication beforehand, especially when you can control the variables, is super, super important.
Well, and I think it's important for the camera guy to stay alert. I mean, he should be hunting as hard as the guy hunting. Last year I had turtle. I mean, we were just hunting like this tiny little deer, like a 240, no big deal. And I look back because there's does popping out 15 yards in front of us. I look back, you know, he's over there on Pornhub. So I had to like nudge him, like, hey, it's go time, dude. There's deer coming. Just throwing you under the bus again, Tyler. It's no big deal. No, all good. Let's shift gears. Dry here. It's dry at home. I would argue if we don't get a good soaker in the next 7 to 10 days, we're going to be in trouble in northern Iowa. I think you guys are about in the same boat.
We're
Same
the
boat.
exact same spot.
Same way. Late. The food plots are later. Anything, you know, later on, beans, stuff like that. Guys, late corn,
Yep.
food plots. It's been bad. David does a lot of food plots, and it's just we had guys wanting us to put in corn, you know, even in the, I don't know, the 20th of May, and it's just so dry. I mean, just
If it
couldn't
hasn't
do it.
germinated yet, you're in trouble. Yeah, you're in
And,
trouble.
I think
There's-
everybody's transitioning right now. Everybody's thinking, I sprayed my beans once now, and I think people are looking towards green stuff now.
Yeah.
Looking just looking for late July and go in there and throw some stuff in. See what
That
you
rye
get.
ain't looking so bad.
Yeah,
now.
yeah. I was
cereal
gonna say, now
grain.
you're looking towards cereal grains and whatever fall plots you might have, but there's a few plots that I have out there right now that I'm already. It's bad when you're looking out into a food plot you just spent all that money on. Now you're talking about turning it under to put something else in. So
Yeah. But better to have anything
well,
than nothing.
I'd rather find out now than I would in September that something's not going to work. So you got
Right.
you got time to splice stuff in, but it's definitely dry.
Well, and I know, like we literally just put a food plot in for another guy, right before we came down here, and I would argue on a normal year, you could get away with putting soybeans in the ground right now from a food plot
Yeah, 100%.
perspective.
Yep, for deer. Yep.
I was
and
for,
get a
for
good
deer,
stand.
yeah. First week of July.
I've planted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've planted. I think the
July 4th.
Yeah,
week,
I
you know,
planted a plot last year, July 4th, and were actually some of the best beans I had. But don't get me wrong, do I want to get ballsy and do stuff like that?
Right.
No, I don't like it. I don't like coming down to the wire like that. But yeah, you definitely could.
And I mean, it was like planting into the Sahara Desert. And I told
Oh, yeah.
the guy straight up, and I was putting the beans in the ground like 1.5 inches. Like, I mean, I was
You must have some. Yeah, you got some.
I was
down
putting
pressure.
them in there, but I told him we still weren't hitting moisture.
Yep.
You know, so I said these things are going to sit there.
Yep. It's sketchy.
And yeah,
Yep.
so we don't know. We're rolling the dice. I hope they come up. But opinion: drought year versus a wet year.
Antler size.
Yes,
Yeah.
because this is. I think this is debatable, and I've heard it go both ways. But what's your guys' read? They got. I mean, are deer going to blow up this year, or are they going to be hurting because it's borderline drought like?
I don't know. I don't. I think they're gonna be hurting more than
I don't know.
anything. I mean, I think it matters more where there ain't so many crops. In areas that maybe out west or something more mule along the lines of mule deer or Kansas type.
These deer are still eating good, man.
Yeah, I
These
agree.
deer in the Midwest, Missouri, Iowa, where we're at, I don't know that it affects them, as much as like I said, out west, so somewhere
Right.
where they're eating green vegetation.
Yeah, well, that's I mean, just around the house there. I mean, there's a lot of, I would call little creeks and stuff. I mean, they're still holding water. So I mean, the deer obviously have water. I mean, ponds. I mean, everything. I haven't seen anything dried up yet besides ag fields and stuff like that. But I have noticed here lately, like browse pressure, even on my corn. Normally, deer don't browse corn that bad, but I mean, it's bright green right now, so they're hammering a lot of my corn plots, which I hate, but at least they got something to eat on. But I don't think it's gotten super bad yet. But if it does, then I think it's going to.
Yeah, we're on the verge of it. If
Yeah,
we don't get a shot.
we're flirting with a fine line.
The one good thing about our drives, we had a dry spring. Fingers crossed, our EHD should be. Wet springs, dry summers, we should be good because we were dry.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So what do y'all think of what's y'all's opinion on that? You hear wet years or dry years is worse.
wet springs and
What's-
dry summers is what I've always heard is the worst on the EHD.
Yeah, I think when you got standing
stagnant
water
water
and then
that-
it dries up,
Yeah,
I think
like-
that's
Well,
your.
the midge fly lays their eggs in the water, and then
Yep.
it goes down. They hatch, and that's what I've always heard. I don't know if that's true or not.
But really, that could kind of go both ways. I mean, if you think of it, right? Because a super wet year, you're going to have standing water in places you never normally would.
Yep.
Yeah.
On a super dry year, any farm pond that doesn't have live water,
Yep.
obviously is going to reseed, and you're going to get the mud and the midge, and kind of a recipe for disaster.
Hey, if you want the answer, just ask old boy.
Yeah.
He's got the answer to everything.
That's true.
Pretty close.
I'm gonna start calling him Webster.
What old boy? So what everybody doesn't know, old boy outfits also. So old boy sells a lot of hunts, and what he said was there's 2 guarantees when you show up to come to his outfit, and when you pay him, he's guaranteed to get paid, and he guarantees you ain't getting your money back. so, but no, I think
I'm
we're
waiting on the guarantee of that booner that he's talking about. He's gonna film
They
it.
really opened a can of worms with the booner.
That's
Tom.
right.
We may have to work out a trade.
So no one really answered the question though. Dry year, if we're gonna have, and maybe it has no effect. I guess I don't know.
I will say, for what I've seen so far this year, I'm running a few cameras. I would say they're putting it on, but
Yeah, I've got some pretty good horns on camera.
yeah, I've seen some freaky stuff already. It should be a good year.
I think that affects, like I said, the different region than what we're in right here. I think they're, like Jason said, they're still eating good right here.
Well, and I think by and large we could say we had a fairly mild winter. I mean,
For sure.
It for sure
Stress
wasn't
levels
harsh.
were low, for sure. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we had
cold early, but for the most part, not a lot of snow,
Yeah,
not a lot of
no.
real cold after Christmas. I mean, it was pretty pleasant, really. I mean,
Well, like the stereotypical stress stage of that mid to late January, colder than the hubs of hell.
Yep.
We didn't have that even in northern Iowa. We really didn't have
Yeah.
that. It was pretty mild. So, all right. So knock on wood, fingers crossed, whatever. This is going to be the year that
We're
we
all
see
feeling
the
winners.
30, 40, 50-inch jumps. Let's
Yeah.
hope.
Well,
So-
I'm all right with that.
Yeah.
Anybody got a special deer they're chasing this year, or one you guys could say, "Yep, we're going after blades," or the double G2 buck, or whatever?
we've got a couple right here at the house. Actually, just there's a couple. There's a split G2 buck I got here. I've got a couple sheds, and it was a pretty good buck last year. I've got a couple that were probably 4-year-olds that I'm going to let the boys try to kill, but they've got till, I don't know, bow season starts September 15th, so they've got till October 5th before I go kill one of them.
Nice.
So
The boys got that double drop tine buck left out there. That's
yeah,
really
he was
good.
a 3-year-old last year, a hell of a
He'd be a
deer,
really good deer.
probably 150-inch deer. So it'll be interesting to see when the pictures start rolling in. There's a couple landowners out there that know about that guy, and and now they're on a podcast. So anyway, so that should be interesting to see what that deer does, because he could blow up, and he would be one that double drop tine, same genetic kind of pool, same area as that deer they killed a couple years ago out there. That was a double main beam on both sides. 224.
He'd throw on 50 inches. He'd be a good deer.
He could do that easy the way he's set up. I mean, he's a hammer. So we should kind of get to see how some of that works as far as dry year, wet year, whatever. But
Yeah, I got one that we had last year. A good 4-year-old had a real palmated deer, drop tine. You know, found it, picked up one side, the drop tine
Nice.
side of his horn. We let him go all year. So
How big was the shed? Did you put a tape on it?
no, I did. I would probably say, I mean, last year as a mainframe 8-point, I'm gonna say he was around 150 or so. You know, and then you throw on what trash he had. You know, probably mid 50s
Good deer.
type deer. Good solid 4-year-old deer. Like I said, we passed him. I actually seen him during that late youth hunt with my little girl. That was when she was out doe hunting. You know, and picked up a shed, so I know he made it through.
Nice.
On a farm that we've killed just very few deer on the past couple of years, kind of letting the age structure build up. So
So it might be ready for the picking, huh?
yeah.
Nice.
But I ain't got to worry about it because old boy gonna put me on a 170.
That's right.
At least that'd be kind of the
Hey.
minimum.
That's
Hey.
just kind of the starting point, right?
Yeah.
Shit, I'm gonna start.
I'm
hunting
fine.
this
I'm fine with not getting my money back. You put me on a 170.
Well, there won't be no charge for you, old boy. You know, I mean, I'll just let you film me one of these days. Or
Hey.
something.
Guaranteed you have a cameraman
Hey,
until my
but here's
next
the deal.
tag becomes available.
But here's the deal. He didn't tell you what you were filming.
Yeah.
year. Yeah,
Just keep that in mind.
it's gonna get weird.
David's gonna run the boom mic.
That's right. That's right. David, you chasing anything of substance that you're excited about or got history with?
I will say that I don't have a specific deer that I'm probably. I mean, I have multiple deer this year. I got one specific farm that I have pretty high hopes for this year. I picked up a couple new leases. Would have been the year before last, and it had been ran through pretty hard by the previous tenants that were there. And so last year we kind of let it sit there, and the age structure was hurting. I mean, there was 3 or 4 4-year-olds there that are going to be something special this year. So, I mean, really, any of them show their face, it's probably going to be trouble this year.
Game
So,
on,
yeah,
right.
it's probably. So, I'm excited about one specific farm. Really, I mean, don't get me wrong. I always have a couple deer that show up that just like last year. My little boy killed a 189. It was just a random.
Just a random
Just
189.
a random stray that I don't know where he came from. I mean, I had a little bit of history. I actually picked up his shed the year before and some standing beans I'd left. Picked up his shed, hadn't had any pictures of him at all, and he just randomly shows up and gets him killed. So,
Nice.
I mean,
Wow.
yeah, you can't complain about that.
How
but-
old's your son?
Well, he was 7 when he killed him, so yeah,
Wow.
he's a spoiled brat. So
If
he has no idea what he's gotten himself into.
He's ruined.
Yeah, he's ruined.
if this podcast is X-rated, I can show you a picture of why David has trouble of killing his deer.
We might have to plug that in. Just say,
Yeah, recently engaged.
oh, funny.
Bless her
That's
heart.
why he's hunting in a blind.
Yeah,
This is all
go.
starting to
yeah.
make
The neighbors
sense.
like
There
to
you
keep an
go.
eye on us.
Oh, you got to be careful. A lot of cell cams out there nowadays, but too funny. You know, the other thing I was going to mention, Tyler, give you a second to kind of talk about it. By the time this airs, almost 100% guaranteed the farm we looked at today would be live and available. Take a couple minutes and walk us through that farm. It's a pretty exceptional place.
Yeah, 268 acres, Putnam County. You know, just south of the Iowa border.
And I mean just south. We're talking a couple miles south.
Yeah, I think the way the crow flies, 5-6 miles. So,
Yep.
so you're hunting the same caliber deer. Farm's got anything that a serious deer hunter's going to want. The trails are all laid out through the property for access. You've got a couple different access points off of off the main road. Guys are leaving multiple tower stands. Food plots are established, destination fields, and kill plots.
And in good spots. Like,
Yeah. These guys have got this farm is going to have the best deer history of a farm that hits the market in a long time. These guys have owned it for 30 years or so. They've got 25 plus years of this deer history. Multiple deer that they've watched and killed. Over 5 or 6 years. That these deer are killing 6.5-year-old.
And some hammers. I mean,
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
killing 190 plus
Yeah,
caliber.
yeah. They killed. I think the biggest deer they killed was 194 inches. A couple, 180s. I don't know how many Boone and Crockett deer, but the big thing, especially from Missouri, they're shooting 6.5-year-old deer year after year after year, and that's something that speaks a lot about the neighborhood that the farm's in, and being a turnkey farm like that. You walk in, it's got power and water there at the road. Hook your camper up, stands are set, food's already planted this year. Go hunt.
Yeah. And I mean, when we went and looked at it, we kind of looked at every aspect of it, and even the topography on the farm. Virtually every draw is running north and south, and you got multiple, and they're all dumping down into
All
a big,
feed.
I don't know what it was, 7-8 acre destination food
Yep,
plot
yep.
in the bottom. Very secluded. So yeah, I mean, if somebody's listening and looking for a piece of ground in a state that you're guaranteed to tag, I mean, whether you're a non-resident or a resident, you're hunting every year. This might be as good as it gets.
Definitely going to be one of the top hunt farms that's on the market.
To be able to hold the deer, they can hold the deer there. Hold with the food and it's a great little farm. Not little farm. It's a great farm.
Out of 268 acres, all but 30 acres of it roughly is timber, and then the 30 acres open ground is all food. So,
and it flows nice. Like the whole thing, there was a lot of diversity in that timber. I mean, there's definitely some mature trees. You could probably even argue trees you could take.
Yep.
Some money trees between the walnut and the oak we looked at. But the thing I noticed too, there's a lot of regen in there. You got a lot of young oaks coming. So there's still a lot of woody browse in there, which would just tell me it's basically all the pieces to the puzzle. You got room, the open, 30-ish acres, virtually all dedicated to food plot, which is pretty legit. But that big destination bowl on the bottom.
And the biggest thing that we talked about, all them ridges, run north side, they kind of all dump into the big destination feed fields. And there's, I'd have to go through and count them all the kill plots. That's, a buck cruising that farm during the rut after a doe. I mean, you're going to get a shot at them for sure.
In trouble.
And setup after setup after setup where you're going to be safe, where they're going to be in trouble using their nose thinking they're smart working a ridge, and you could almost be bulletproof sitting there with the north-south, topography. So anyway, I thought it was worth taking a minute and talking about that because I do think that's an exceptional farm, and somebody's going to have an absolute dandy on their hands when that thing is on the market and available. So
Yeah, we're definitely excited about getting it out there.
yeah.
It's a heck of a farm. You don't come across them all the time, especially in Putnam County, and we've got it priced right, and it's ready to go. Those guys go in there and they do a great job of killing mature deer. They want to kill mature 5.5, 6.5-year-old deer. They go in, they with late season with their grandkids and kids, and they hammer the does. Management.
Balanced herd.
They go in and they send us all kinds of pictures of the trapping and coon hunting. I mean, they're doing stuff for the egg eaters, for the turkey, the kid. It's a great farm. I mean, if you like turkey, just everything farm, it's set up. They don't have a cabin there now. They have a building, water and electricity right there. You go in there, put a cabin in there, a house, whatever you want. It's just set up. It's an awesome farm, and it's priced really, really well, and it's something that'll, this time this goes out, when we have it sold, but one of those farms that just doesn't come along every day.
I
One
just
thing we
can't
didn't hit
imagine
on,
it's going
too,
to last long.
Was the turkey hunting. I mean,
Yeah.
I wish they'd turned me loose for a couple days in there.
we talked. Tyler and I went and looked at it last week, and we wanted to kind of get an overview. Like, we checked it out. We did our initial stuff, and then we went back last week, walked it, kind of looked some more of the timber and stuff like that, and we're sitting down there, and I was walking, and I thought I heard something. I thought it was a woodpecker, and I hear that, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And then again, two birds south of us, just hammering in the bottom south of us, and it was I don't know. We probably could have killed one if it was season, in the 1st of June or whatever it was, or 5th of June or whatever. So yeah, it's tons of turkeys.
By far going to be one of the best farms to hit the market in a long time in this general area.
Yep.
And Putnam County, it's known for being one of the top
It's-
producers for.
Yeah, you
For
can't
Boone-
be
not
that
only in the
close to
state,
Southern
but-
Iowa would not be good. I mean, I'm a little biased towards Iowa, of course, but that's a special farm. There's
Well,
no
not
doubt
I
about
mean
it.
not only in the just state of Missouri, but kind of the whole country. I mean, Putnam County's pretty well known. You're hunting deer that maybe come or go from Iowa.
True,
If they get out and running, but definitely top end farm for sure.
Yeah, I think Putman ranks right up there in the Boone and Crockett recorded
Yeah,
deer
yeah.
too.
It has to. I mean, yeah, it's that was fun. I mean, I appreciate you guys having us down to look at that one because I'm excited about that. I think you guys are about to hit a home run on that one. So
I hope so.
yeah.
It'll make somebody a good farm, make somebody happy.
It's the right size too. I mean, it's not too big and it's big enough. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know how else to say it.
And with the timber, I mean, you're going to be able to hold and grow some deer too.
Oh, for sure. Lots of opportunity there. But I don't know if I think David probably had to run off and check out the little girl's room or whatever he's doing. Oh, he's coming back. He's coming
Yeah,
back.
small bladder type of deal.
Small bladder. Last name is Little.
Yeah, well,
Little and
I
small.
always told the girls not to get their hopes up.
Yeah. Oh, fair enough. Well, guys, it's been fun. Appreciate the insight on your guys' background filming and stuff. Obviously, Jason and Dave, always good to see you guys and hang out a little bit. We appreciate the hospitality, but we'll wrap this thing up. Any last words?
Don't forget to throw out another shout out to old boy here for his film. Anybody need some freelance work?
Yep.
He's in.
Not a problem.
And it ain't got to be just
It's turkey, deer, it's whatever category.
It ain't got to be in the outdoor industry.
He's,
No,
he's
yeah.
a Swiss. He's a Swiss Army knife. He
Yeah.
can do anything.
He's a
That's
jack
right.
of all trades.
he's definitely something.
Yeah.
As long as he's got some duct tape, he can fix anything.
That's a fact.
Oh, good,
That's
good.
a fact.
But there ain't anything better hanging out with the old UC boys.
Yeah,
It's kind of
absolutely.
fun. It's kind of fun.
Yep.
All right. Oh, we're definitely putting a wrap on Tyler's boat too. There's going to be a UC Hunting Properties wrap on that crappie slaying machine he's got.
Absolutely.
So look forward to that. And if you see him, I'd just follow him around with the GPS tracker, and then the next time you go, you'll know where to go.
Drop a pin.
There's a lot better people to follow than me out there. I promise you that.
All right, boys. That's a wrap. Appreciate it.
Thank you for watching this episode of the Stand on Your Investment podcast presented by UC Hunting Properties and Expedition Land Management.